Welcome back to the Movie Marathon Men. I'm Owen Garner. And we watch films that make us go... Today, we're giving you our review of... Well, we should start the counter now, I think. We're reviewing Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice, you say?
Oh no, it's happened already. So yeah, this is a legacy sequel, and when we look at legacy sequels, what is the question that we ask, Luke? Was it worth the wait? That's the name of this series, where we look at legacy sequels and we ask a bunch of different questions, and we finally try to come round to the answer to this very pertinent question. I mean, legacy sequels, they've really taken over the box office. Well, we were sometimes the box office, but mainly just the cinema.
Yeah, we were quite literally just discussing what film nowadays would get a legacy sequel.
Throw it down in the comments. Help us out with this. I mean, no, but really,
please, we couldn't come up with one.
Couldn't come up.
But the realization that the last 14 years have been dominated by superhero films, and if not them, it's been legacy sequels.
Yeah, even as we were saying, down to the drama films. So Trainspotting got a legacy sequel, and I love that movie. It's on my top 4 on Letterboxd. I absolutely love that film. But even down to the drama movies, we're getting their legacy sequels. It's not original ideas. So yeah, we were looking at what we could think would be a legacy sequel in the future. Well, we're looking at what's the criteria. So it's kind of high concept. It's still talked about. It has these things that you would want to see return. Well, Beetlejuice.
I was going to say, who's not talked about? Beetlejuice.
Well,
because if you say his name,
back.
You don't want to return.
We've already summoned him, I think, 3 times.
I don't think he wants to come.
No, I don't think so. So we should give the good people at home a little synopsis of the original Beetlejuice
and the bad people
movie. Well, all of those people they're in it.
They're in Beetlejuice. They're dead.
They're dead because only bad people die.
Only bad people die.
Well, when people do die in the universe of Beetlejuice, they go into a sort of purgatory where they're met with these sort of civil servants of the afterlife who don't really even help them on their way. They're given a handbook for the recently deceased. And they're also cast into this, it's definitely not June, but June world with sandworms.
Yep. Well, that's it. A recap of one. 2 people die.
Yep.
And others, but they're off screen. Our 2 people die, and the other people move in. One of which is Winona Ryder, as a child, teenager.
I couldn't. She's a child.
Yeah,
really. She's probably 16, which is a child.
Then they try to haunt. Unsuccessfully. They go into the underworld. To ask questions.
Because what do you do when you haunt unsuccessfully? You look for help.
You go to customer service.
They go in all the wrong places then.
Yeah. And eventually they find a man called Beetlejuice to help them haunt. They set him loose. And
hijinks ensue.
Exactly. In Beetlejuice, though, Winona Ryder is smart. She's to the wise.
She's not saying
She's
Beetle
not saying his
guys.
name.
She's Beetle-wise.
Beetle-wise. She is a ghost investigator, paranormal expert.
She's one of these sort of TV...
Soothsayer.
Yeah.
She's like
her name's Clairvoyant.
There you are.
Yeah.
She's Lydia... nothing goes with that. She is on TV. She's a celebrity. She's famous.
Yeah.
Her child is Jenna Ortega. Her mother, kind of, is Catherine O'Hara. That's from the first one. Now,
as a very, very successful artist,
Yes.
a fairly successful artist in the original, but now a far more successful artist. So yeah, we pick up with them, I think, in a sort of real time later.
Yes,
almost.
It is 2024, I think.
Yeah, so, and because I think that they do... Oh, no, they definitely do. At their end of the film, we get the year...
Yes, we do.
Earmarked. So yeah, it's modern times...
Yeah.
But yeah, through the events of the world, they're sort of called back to the original house.
Yeah.
And then they're all thrown back into the ring. And
more hijinks ensue.
Who rears his ugly head but the...
Me. No.
Me.
You?
Bob. No.
Bob.
But Beetlejuice.
Yes.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, and more hijinks ensue.
Here's a preview. Be warned, it's intense.
Let's fire straight in to our first question for Worth the Wait. So that is, did anyone ask for it?
Well, I will say probably not, honestly. I think people were kind of happy to leave this as a good old... I don't think people were bubbling away with anticipation. I don't think
like a what happens next.
Yeah, I don't think it needed a what happened next, partially because Tim Burton just carried on pumping them out.
He really did. As you'll know from watching our video on Tim Burton, Babies First, Where Should You Start? He made a lot of movies. It literally went Beetlejuice, said it again. I think like in a 1 year, next year, it was like Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Like and that's him in his prime.
Yeah.
So it's like he did Beetlejuice. People went, wow, what next from him? Batman, he's changed the game.
That was him in his prime. In our prime, we went Tim Burton, Babies First.
Yeah.
Tim Burton's new film.
Yeah.
So our prime is really covering his prime.
Yes, it really, really is.
But I don't know how many people were desperate to see it again. I think when you eventually pitched and float the idea, people are happy to watch it.
So like Tim Burton fans,
yeah,
they love his stuff. So it's a particular cult. It's spooky, cozy people, love Halloween. This film's set at Halloween. Yeah. A great move
released
for this
at Halloween
kind of film.
as well.
Yeah. I mean, you might be watching this at Halloween. At home, when they want this film to be on streaming sites. That's the world that we live in. It's because we were trying to record this. You were like, let's record that in 2 weeks' time. And I went, nope. It comes out tomorrow. It comes out in September.
More people were wearing shorts than they were Halloween costumes.
They were.
Although the sights of those calves were scarier than any costume.
They really incensed me. Let's not get onto my thoughts on shorts. Did anyone ask for it? I mean, I kind of asked for it because
you pleaded,
like
letter
films
after letter,
like this,
straight to Tim Burton's personal assistant.
And finally, that personal assistant cracked and said, "I will float the idea to it." No, I love Tim Burton. So any new Tim Burton stuff, I'm kind of ready for. So in that sense, I kind of asked for it. But you're right. It maybe is one where people were like, it's maybe best left alone.
Yeah.
So,
and that wasn't... Sorry, that sounded like a comment on the film for a moment
there. No. But, it's a comment on the idea of doing the film.
He's not a sequel man, really. I mean,
he's only other sequel,
he's done what? He's done Alice in Wonderland as a producer.
Well, as a producer, yeah. Batman Returns is his only proper sequel. So Alice in Wonderland, he's a producer in name. I think basically that's it.
I believe he said he did not like working for Disney at some an interview.
It's interesting that he did it again.
He did it again
on Dumbo.
Twice.
Yeah, because he hated working on Dumbo. He said that he almost walked away from making films.
There's a line he flew away with his ears.
Yeah.
There's a line in this film about Disney. I can't recall what it was, but it was like, we always dress up for Halloween, but never as Disney characters. Yeah. And certainly not as elephants.
For him the elephant in the room is called Dumbo. He put a thing in this film which made it feel a little bit like a swan song to me. I thought there was quite a sort of almost full circle moment. There's a flash of a dog at one point. It's not really a spoiler because I'm taking this kind of fully out of context, which I think is the dog from Frankenweenie, which is his first kind of film. So it's a short. Yeah. It's from the 80s, 85, I think. And there were kind of bits that I felt like he's had all these interviews where he said, I nearly stepped away from filmmaking. I feel like he maybe could, like, in 2 weeks' time announce, and I'm done for good. Because what a great marketing ploy for the film would be. Paul Simon has done countless farewell tours, as has Elton John, as has Neil Young.
Tim Burton's going to go around the world.
He's going to do a farewell tour.
Just showing Beetlejuice.
Yeah. But I feel like that would be a great thing to say. Well, I mean, sad.
I love Tim Burton. I'm all ready for his new stuff. But what a great thing it would be if he retires.
No, but I mean, that would do great numbers for this movie.
Spend more time with me.
Yeah, in our chalet. Yeah, in the country. No, I think I don't know. I got kind of.
You got final sort of nostalgic
got a feel of that. Yeah,
he's gone a bit soft.
I think so.
He's not got that killer in him anymore.
I think he is maybe thinking, I'm losing my edge. You know, you said confidently that his most representative movie is Dark Shadows, and he took that to heart.
Yeah.
He saw that and he went, oh gosh, I've maybe got to give it a rest.
Can't believe Grandpa's dead.
Death is hard.
Yeah, sometimes I think life is harder.
Let's move on to our next question, and that is, does this film stand on its own dismembered legs?
Or reconstructed.
Or reconstructed.
Or floating.
Yeah.
Well, we had the privilege
We did.
of watching this with someone who had not seen the original. And I had the further privilege of being sat next to them. So I know...
Doing the class. This is the bit...
Well, interestingly, I tried not to mansplain.
Yeah.
I just manspreaded in the cinema. Thighs on both armrests.
I was not enjoying sitting next to you. I was sort of sitting under you, really. if we're yeah.
But I got I wouldn't say a barrage, but I'll float that word of questions throughout this film. Of just, were they in the original? Like, who was this? What's this hallway?
It's interesting that you say that, because I was asked that question by that person.
Just over.
Just 10 minutes ago.
Oh, just 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. So clearly your answer did not suffice.
No. So with that, I'm not going to say wholly, yes. But equally, I think
I really think it did.
But I was going to say, I think if they'd watched it by themselves.
Yeah.
On streaming, as intended.
Well, yeah. And as everyone will.
Yeah.
I think this film is going to be flop, Netflix hit.
I think it'll do fine.
I think,
I don't think it's going to be a success.
I don't think it's going to be a flop.
No.
It will make its money, but it won't be a mega hit.
It will not be a mega hit. It won't be a big
so it'll do. I think it will do that thing of like, here's this movie that everybody said was rubbish, or like nobody went to see, and it's number one on Netflix chart, like for that day.
Especially because
oh, you can't edit around that one. That one surprised even me.
When I was a teenager, a trickster demon terrorized our entire family and tried to force me to marry him.
I think it does stand on its own.
Yes.
Because you don't need to know, like, is it better if you've seen the first one? Yes. Do you know who the people are from just watching this film? Yes.
Yeah.
You don't need to know Winona Ryder was in the first one.
No.
Because she says the events
O'Hara.
of it.
They both do that. But it's not ham-fisted. It's not clumsy.
No.
For me, all allusions to the original, all the sort of links and sort of wink and a nod, they were done in a really kind of reverential but subtle way. They weren't like really slamming your nose in it, rubbing your nose.
Yeah, just slamming your nose, slamming your face.
I have no idea what I was trying to say. But, you know, Mama Dietz's, the Catherine O'Hara character, I can't remember what her name is now. There's Lydia, what?
Is
she Dolores? I don't know.
No, that was the other one.
Oh, right. But her, like, sculptures being, like, a big thing in the original, they're just kind of in the background, but they tell a story because they're there at the Dietz Art Foundation. And then she does reference it by name. But, you know, they're there and they make sense when they're there. So it's like, for a fan of the original, you see it and you're like, oh, haha, nice.
Exactly.
But for a person just watching this film, you have that visual storytelling of, here are these sculptures in the background. which, she's a successful sculptor and she's got money and is big in the art world. And so it just works for this film. I think all of the sort of, as we would say, law and the rules and all the things that are established, they're sort of reasserted in this film in a really good way. I think, I think you could watch just this. And I think for a lot of modern audiences, that is really important. I think there's a lot of people who probably won't want to watch the original and can just watch this. So I think that hand on the shoulder of hey, don't worry. You don't have to have done your homework. Because that's a big thing that people have as an issue with modern cinema. You go to the cinema to watch the new Marvel movie, you have no idea what's going on. Because you've not watched the 10 before. We have, but not everyone has. And not everyone is required to.
They've got plans.
They've got plans.
Things to do.
Lives. They're not just at home doing this. They can't watch 3 bad TV shows to then go and watch one film.
I'm not sure I can.
No, we're losing our patience.
Yeah.
I believed he was gone forever until you found this in the attic.
Ew. Who's Beetlejuice?
Don't ever say that name.
Beetlejuice.
Does this honor the original story? Does it advance the story, the universe, or the characters?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me it absolutely doesn't. So the kind of main thing that you would worry about with this, as with quite a lot of legacy sequels, it's that universe. It's like, ooh, God, they're touching that thing that I love. Are they going to make it weird or not as weird as it should be? Or are they going to ruin it? Are they going to dilute it? What are they going to do? They're going to get it wrong. So people have this connection to the world that is set out in the original, and the way that all the sort of civil servants of the afterlife are. And that people are really sort of sentimental and protective over things like that, understandably, because it's like that came out in 1988 and they would have watched it and been like, this is incredible, I've never seen anything like this ever. And for quite a while they didn't really see anything as inventive and original as that. So you're sort of worried about, is this going to honor that world? Is it going to add in weird, explanations to things that never needed explaining? Is it going to, add in new rules that don't really work? Or is it going to add in, shoehorn in new characters and do things like that? And for me, it didn't do that at all.
So the concern, based on, I think, the trailer or maybe the synopsis that was posted somewhere, was obviously in the original he's marrying Winona Ryder, or trying to, and he gets that finger out to get the ring off and throws it away, and he's like, she meant nothing to me, and it's it is a throwaway joke, both in sort of consequence, because he throws it away, and then they were like, and that woman is gonna be the bride is going to be one of the villains in Beetlejuice. And I was like, are they going to pick every bit of nonsense that Michael Keaton shouted out in that film and
Shut a dog
and put it in this one? Are they going to get every little bit that was a fun joke?
I just know that you're going to clip out me going, shut a dog.
But they're going to put that in, and it's going to be there are no actual new jokes. They've just taken the funny things from the first one and made a plot around that. Yeah. But that was the only one, I think.
Yeah, I think
there might have been random other bits, but it wasn't all.
Well, but that was the only one that got me, and I didn't hate it.
Oh, it's fine.
For me, that worked really well as a motivation for that subplot. Quite a lot of moving parts in this film.
There are
quite a lot of subplots.
Yeah, this felt like a film that was
together really well. I think
it wasn't that. In a good way, it wasn't that irreverent, I suppose, of a lot of it just sort of Beetlejuice turns up just sort of in a normal-ish scene in this one, and they're not his return and all that sort of stuff isn't built up as a huge deal.
They did it really well for the trailers. So there's a bit where he turns up in the movie, which looks really like we're doing legacy sequel. But within the context of the movie, it just comes in as this it's just a really dramatic scene. And you're right, his first scene is done it's just him in an office with some guys.
Yeah.
And Bob, my main one.
But having the there's a Willem Dafoe subplot, Jenna Ortega gets hers. Like, there's every character has their own thing going on, and it cuts between them so frequently that you're not there. It's not a legacy sequel where they just had 2 ideas.
Yeah.
And they did 1 idea per hour.
Yeah.
And that was the film.
Yeah.
He had a lot of stuff going on. Like, I'm not saying I'm desperate for it, but he could make a third one of the, not necessarily Beetlejuice, but he could make a third film in this sort of world.
In this world, yeah.
Like, it feels like he's fleshed it out.
Oh, you could. I could see a decent TV show.
Yeah.
In this world. I mean, it's because Beetlejuice is the name on the poster, but he's not the main character of the original, and he's not the main character of this one.
No.
Like, that's not a spoiler, because he's not the main character of the original. Like, he's not. He's just the most interesting.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me once that, when you're coming up with the title of something, it's what would the chapter in the history book be called? And so, it's what's the most important, like, sort of name-grabbing thing of it. So it doesn't even matter sometimes if it's not the main character. It's what was the main event. And Beetlejuice was the main event of that original film.
It's called The Great Gatsby, not Tobey Maguire. Because I don't know his name.
Yeah. Or even the woman.
Carey Mulligan.
Yeah, Carey Mulligan.
Daisy.
Daisy.
Is that it?
Buchanan?
Tom Buchanan. So yes.
There we are.
What's the main character? I can't remember. I can do all of them apart from...
It's Peter Parker. It's Peter Parker.
Peter Parker. You're right.
We've worked it out.
Yes.
Anyway, back to Beetlejuice.
If you say his name 3 times, he will appear.
Beetlejuice.
The juice is loose. I'm gonna make you so happy.
The characters advanced.
Yeah.
So Lydia Dietz and the evil stepmother, they were advanced in really fun ways. I liked seeing their relationship, how that played out. She said, "Oh, you were once the evil teenager that hated me." So that really worked for me. And you're watching these new relationship dynamics play out, which is always, with a legacy sequel, you have the people that are the audience surrogate age, which, because anybody watching a movie identifies with the 20-year-old in it, if that's the main character. Everybody thinks that they're Spider-Man, even if they're 50. And then the legacy sequel you watch, and you're like, oh man, maybe I am Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
But now you're 50. But you only think that if your Peter Parker is now being Uncle Ben. So, or that kind of figure to a Miles Morales or whatever. So it's really fun to see that. So for us watching it, Jenna Ortega is still very much our audience surrogate.
We're clinging on to it.
But because we are clinging on to it, because we're very much aged out of that. That's why I said Peter Parker, because we're not Spider-Man.
You say Jenna Ortega is our audience surrogate, whereas really to me, it was Bob.
It was Bob. Oh. But so it's really fun for that audience to see that relationship play out in that way, because I think it developed in a really good way.
I think so.
Let's I think we have to do it. We've not talked about it even before the camera started rolling. We do need to address the Dumbo in the room. The original actor who plays the dad, real life scumbag, so written out the movie, was a little bit in the movie, but not him in paintings or as a
and as a character. They got around not using the actor quite well.
So they're able to, it's not like, oh right, we now can't really use this actor, so that character's just gone completely.
Yeah.
They work around it, I think, really well.
Yes.
I am really looking forward to watching this movie again with not having that in the back of my mind.
What, the fear?
Not having to worry about, is that not going to be done well? Is that going to detract from the rest of the film? What's it going to do? So I'm looking forward to watching it again, not second guessing every moment, thinking, oh gosh, is it going to get in the way of the film? Because it didn't at all.
No, not at all. No, absolutely not.
Which is great.
Yeah, no. What was the question? Does it advance the characters?
Yeah, does it advance the story, universe, or characters?
Enough.
Yeah, so it honours
Like,
the original. I think,
it does it enough. It does not isn't like open up the encyclopedia of or the guide for the recently deceased. It doesn't really go into the lore, and it doesn't add that much. It just does more of it and adds a little bit here and there.
Well, so the Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin characters, I can't remember what their names are, but they're like sort of mentioned in a passing way, and in a way that's for me it honors their characters. Like it doesn't. There's not like it's not like they're not even mentioned. It's not like the way that they're mentioned is very like, oh, who cares? So because you see in some sequels where like a character is not honoured at all because it was a character that wasn't done well. So it's like, no, we just sent him to Siberia. Yeah. Like in a very like, oh, you hated that guy in the last film, so we got rid of him. So yeah, you're not seeing that. I think it did honour the original.
Yeah.
The living. The dead. Can they coexist? That's what we're here to find out.
This is our penultimate question, really, before we get to the big one. And that's, who is it for? So really, with this question, we're sort of hitting at, is it for the original fans?
Yeah.
Is it for new fans? Is it for both? Is it for neither?
I think this is a film for, like, both could watch it. New fans can watch it. Old fans can watch it. I think this is a film for original fans more so than it is for a new audience.
So definitely in our screening, there are a lot of original fans based purely on their cinema etiquette alone. Actually, no, young people are the worst in movies
actually,
as well. So there was a young person on their phone the whole time. Really annoying. There was an old guy just touching his head the whole time. The whole time. And then in a different part of the cinema, just this. He was taking up as much room as he possibly could. It was insane. And then in a different part of the cinema, there were people talking, I would say louder than we're talking right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's piranhas, is it? Yes, it's piranhas, Deirdre. It's been piranhas for the last 3 scenes.
So that's old audience you're on about. I think it was old audience because it's unapologetically it again. Like when the characters meet Beetlejuice again, it's not holding back. It's not, it really is just Beetlejuice again.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's doing a lot more to set up a sequel. I know that there's perhaps like room for it, but I don't think it's like, this is a universe. We're going to have so many spin-offs. I think it is by committee going to do things that entice a new audience. But I think the script was written for people who liked the original. I don't think it's obviously not a new person taking the helm. It's because it's the same guy.
Same music,
but
same actors for a lot of it.
And as you're saying, it feels a little bit swan-songy. It also is like Tim Burton is allowed to just say, I want to make this film.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do a bunch of in-jokes. There's some stuff I didn't get to do in 1988 that I want to do now. I don't think this is supposed to open up a Beetlejuice franchise. I think it is like, everyone who enjoys Beetlejuice like laughs at the things that are just like, that's so Beetlejuice.
You mean you're not going to Beetle World?
I would.
I would. They could make it in the model village.
Which one?
Probably life size, but they would make it look like a model village. Yes. Is what I mean. Like their version of like the Hogwarts experience. Well, it would be a village, but it would like all the walls would look like they're cardboard.
America.
Yes. No, it would be a weird sort of meeting of like things made really, really well because you have to make all these parks really, really well so they don't fall on people and you get sued for millions. Made really, really well to look like they're made terribly. Like, it would be really, really solid walls made to look like they were made out of cardboard.
Would we have a giant Alec Baldwin presiding over us?
Maybe.
like a
But-
deity.
Maybe not Alec Baldwin now.
Maybe that's what we deserve.
It's not the Alec Baldwin we
We
need.
need.
It's the Alec Baldwin we deserve.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Where's Beetlejuice? Where's Beetlejuice?
There were a bunch of visual elements in this film that were so like just taken from the original, but there were new things added in that I really, really enjoyed. There was this sort of like cropping zoom on one of the key plot points, and I really, really enjoyed that. So there were, you know, the way that the camera moved when they said his name the first time, you know, and it moved around like that, and then the use of scale and perspective. You know, there were things that were so like taken out of the original and those sort of visual trademarks. But then there were new things, so there was a development for me.
Yeah.
I loved this film. I almost said at the top of this video, like, I just want to get it out of the way. I love this film before you say anything, because I didn't know if you were going to love it as well. So I sort of thought, I kind of want to get it out of the way of like, I loved it, and you're going to have to talk me down from I loved it. But I did. I loved it. It was for me, basically. It was, so I, you know, obviously wasn't around for this film the first time around, but have been around for Tim Burton for, you know, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Alice in Wonderland ones. But, you know, we loved those at the time when they came out. You know, and each film that I've gone back and seen of his, I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So the new Tim Burton film, oh, great. Oh, and he's doing a follow-up to one of his actual classics, one of the really great ones. Brilliant. So, yeah, this was tailor-made for me.
I also really liked this film.
Beetlejuice.
Feel free to express yourselves. Don't be afraid.
You're a figment of my imagination.
Really? Is this a figment of your imagination?
This strikes that tone of a film that's just kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
Like, the plot is almost secondary, but it works. So that's how you do these films well. Is like, are they a vibe? Are things just kind of happening? Yeah. But does the plot still actually work, though, on a basic level? Yes. So it's a thready plot.
Yeah.
But they all come together.
You can tell that they really liked their Soul Train idea. Cause
I love that we got a whole song and dance number from a pun.
Yeah.
That they
And
made.
they went back.
Somebody made a pun, and they were like, "This is great." And then they built that set, and they looked at the set, and they were like, "This is so good.
Yeah.
We've got to use this multiple times." I love that. I love that. That to me feels like kind of plucky filmmaking.
Well, it's
Because
like
it's like they did a thing, and they were like, "Oh no, there's more of this."
because that is just an idea.
Yeah.
And they've taken it as far as they want.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is it. You can say whatever you want, criticism wise, but I think if you had fun, then that's really that's the aim.
So our final question, and I think you probably know the answer, Luke, was Beetlejuice worth the wait?
Movies, Stranger Things,
The 80s.
rollerblading.
No, mate, you've already seen low-rise jeans in the streets. I'm not enjoying it. It's such a bad idea. Fingerless Gloves, the film.
Wait for the
Kids,
legacy
the film.
sequel, Full Gloves. Yes, it was worth the wait.
I absolutely think it was worth the wait, you know. So Beetlejuice has been out there in the cosmos, in the zeitgeist for so long. People have always been talking about it. Oh, this new one's coming out. Oh, God, is it going to stay? Yeah, absolutely. For me, it knocks it out of the park.
Yep.
I think it's an absolutely amazing film. It's shot, I think, straight to the top of the list of my favourite films of this year. I loved it because I love these kinds of films especially. So for me personally, this is absolutely great. I think it was absolutely worth the wait. I'm glad it didn't happen sooner. There are things that he was able to do effects-wise with this film that made it great, but he still did all those original effects. There was still loads of stop-motion effects used in this, loads of really charming touches. So for me, this looked, from start to finish, absolutely perfect.
It did.
Well, there we are. There we have it. I think we've unequivocally answered that question. Was Beetlejuice worth the wait? It absolutely is. He's here. He's been summoned, and he's back in our cinemas, and we're both very happy about that. It's a big thumbs up from us. Absolutely. Well, we have been the Movie Marathon Men. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to stay up to date with all the lovely things that we're doing. We've got a couple of Marvel videos coming out. We're going to be covering Hellboy and Francis Ford Coppola ahead of Megalopolis. Try saying that 3 times quickly.
Megalopolis.
The
box office flop.
Mega box office flop. That's such a great headline.
Megaflopolis.
Megaflopolis. Trademark that right now. Look it up. It's probably already been trademarked.
Yeah. That's been trademarked since January.
As soon as he announced the title, somebody came up with that. Yeah, well, we're going to be covering it anyway because people are going to talk about it.
We're going to be covering it because we've watched the films that we needed to have watched anyway. Too much sunk time.
I don't think that people are going to watch the film, but I think people are going to talk about it.
We certainly will.
We will. We'll do both.
Yeah. For
you on the channel here. Well, until next time, it's been a joy. Beetlejuice. Goodbye.